Well, hey, Freedom Church, it is a new year. Can you believe that 2022 is gone and that we are now into 2023? It amazes me how quickly time goes now. And the years really do go by fast. I remember people telling me that when I was young. I'm like, oh, the years go by fast. And they really do go by fast the older you get. But when you realize that the years go by fast, you're reminded that you really need to live purposeful lives. And so I was looking at 1 Corinthians 10:31. It says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. And so what I want to say is with everything, let's have purpose in 2023. Now, one tool that I have found, and there are lots of tools to help you find purpose, but one tool that I've found that really helps me grab a hold of my purpose each year is to have a word of the year. I'm sure you've heard about words of the year. You've seen people who have words of the year. So I thought today I could help us walk through choosing a word of the year, and maybe you can kind of pray about it, think about it, but maybe you already have one that'll come and rise to the surface with you for the word of the year by sharing our word of the year for the church. Now, here's the word of the year for 2023 for Freedom Church. Pause. Do you guys remember? It's very important. The pause. You remember there's power in the pause. Hopefully you just said it. Just from a couple months ago, we had a sermon by Connie that just reminded us that there's so much power in the pause. And as I was wrestling with that sermon and realizing how I needed pause in my life, I thought, what a great word that would be for our word of the year. And I was recently working with one of my kids on studying and practicing for a math test. And as we were working, I noticed that they were rushing through everything that they were doing, rushing to answer honestly so that they could be done with the test or be done with the homework. And they really weren't clearly reading the problem, weren't processing the problem. They had all the capability in the world to do the problem. They just weren't taking the time. And so I said this, I said, hey, just pause. Think for a minute, really read what you're reading, get clarity to what's happening, and you know the answer. You just have to pause and look at the problem one more time before you move on. And I thought, how helpful would that be in my life if I could just pause every now and then, look at what's going on, look at the problem, and just pause. We can all use this advice, right? In 2023, what if we all just paused just for a moment and said, I'm gonna see what I could do. Pause before you get angry. Not while you're angry, but before you get angry. Pause before you just say what you think. You know, it's important what you think, but pause just a little bit before you say it. Pause before you assume someone else's motives. Pause before you go down the road of worrying about something rather than praying about it. Pause before you eat those sugary carbs today, because I know you're gonna do it. It's January 1st. If you're gonna be as skinny as you wanna be by February, you can't do it today, so go ahead. Carbs is something that we might need to do before we pause. Now, the word of the year for freedom is pause, but I believe knowing this word of the year is going to help you with your word of the year as well. Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. So it's not just the be still part, it's the and know that I'm God. The last part is an important part. It's not just about the pause, but it's about the purpose that's found in the pause so that you can know you are following God's way, knowing that He is God. And so as we pause, what is God calling you into more? Like, what is He calling you to be about? What is He calling you to know about Him? This past year, for me, was a year of tenderness. Just like being tender about things. Friends who are going through really hard stuff, just challenges in leadership and even within our own selves, just trying to figure out things. And so it was a lot of tenderness this past year. Felt like my heart hurt a lot. Maybe you've been in one of those years too. And as the year came to an end and I was doing some processing and praying and just asking God what He would want for the next year, I felt like God said, pause so that I can bring you to tender places before the tenderness finds you. So in other words, find the tenderness before the tenderness finds you. That's my word for the year. I'm going to pause so that I can look for places where I can just be more tender to the things that hurt God, where I can just be more tender to the things that break His heart, where I can just be more tender to what's going on in someone's life. God said pause so that you can do that. So what are you pausing for? What's going to be your word? You're pausing so that so that I can hear from God and really follow him more. I'm pausing so that I can pray more. I'm pausing so that I can make better decisions. I'm pausing so that I can be more mature. I'm pausing so that I don't get angry so much. I'm pausing so I don't have so much anxiety and worry. What are you pausing for in your life? Because we're going to pause and we're going to ask God for there to be power in the pause, but that we would also find purpose in the pause. So I hope you have a great day watching football or whatever people do that don't watch football. I don't know. I hope you have a great day relaxing, being off of work. But don't forget, it's a new year, which means it has the potential to allow God to make you into a new you if you will pause, be still, and know that he is God.